In the heart of the Galactic Council, many voices spoke at once. Alien ambassadors from hundreds of species argued, debated, and shouted. The great silver chamber, shaped like a glowing star, was filled with tension. But one voice was quiet, deep. Old Elder Varn, of the Gear. People stood slowly. His skin was like stone, cracked by time. His eyes glowed faintly, blue, full of memory, full of warnings. When he spoke, the noise stopped. "You must not test the humans," he said. His voice echoed through the chamber. Many younger races turned. Their heads, some whispered, some rolled their eyes. "Humans," said High Commander Threx of the Valrax Empire, laughing. "They are new, primitive. They only joined space 200 years ago. What threat are they?" Varn did not smile. "You do not understand. We saw them before, a long time ago, before the Council was born." "But they were quiet," said a young Arvok diplomat. "They didn't expand. They didn't fight. Just watched." Varn nodded. "Yes, because they chose peace. But if you break that peace, they change." Threx raised his hand. "Enough stories. Enough fear. The Velrax. Empire will test this so-called power. If they are weak, we will take their space. If they are strong, well, we will see." And just like that, the Council turned away from the warning. In the far corner of the galaxy, near the border of human space, a lonely station floated in silence. It was called Outpost Echo-7. Small, cold, built on an asteroid. It was not a military base, just a relay station to monitor passing ships. Only 15 humans lived there. They never expected war. The Velrax ship Bloodspear approached at light speed. It was a deadly cruiser with sharp black wings and heavy plasma cannons. On board, Commander Threx stood tall, his armor glowing red with power. He gave his order: "Crush the station. Show the Council we fear nothing." As the Bloodspear moved in, scanners showed no weapons, no defense shields, no warships, just a small human structure in silence. "Pathetic," Threx said. The ship fired. Plasma struck the asteroid. Explosions rocked the ground. A communication tower fell. Life signs faded. The crew on the bridge of the Bloodspear cheered. "Humans are finished," one officer said, but then something strange happened. A whisper moved through the ships. Speakers. A crackling noise, like static, but with a rhythm. "Did someone open a channel?" asked the communications officer. "No," said the tech. "We're not receiving any known signal." The lights flickered, then went out. On the bridge, emergency red lights came on. All systems began to fail one by one. "We're being jammed," shouted an officer. "No. It's not jamming," said the chief engineer. "It's something inside. It's rewriting our systems." "What do you mean rewriting?" "It's like, our ship is being taken over." Commander Threx stepped forward. "Reverse engines. Get us out of here." But the ship didn't move. Then, every screen across the ship lit up with the same image. A white circle. Simple. Empty. Cold. Then a voice spoke across all channels, clear. "Human.com. You were warned." Back in the Council chamber, panic broke out. The Bloodspear had vanished. 1 second it was there. The next it was gone. No debris, no explosion, just gone. Velrax leaders shouted. They demanded answers. The humans said nothing. Their ambassador simply stood. Tall, silent, calm. "You fired first," he said. "We asked for peace." "What did you do to our ship?" "We showed you mercy. Once." Meanwhile, far beyond the stars, on Earth, a deep bunker came alive, hidden under Antarctica. Protected by ice and silence, ancient systems powered on.
Lights.
Blinked.
What?
Project Sentinel was waking up. It was never supposed to be used. But the Elders' warning had been ignored. In the cold void near Outpost Eco-7, something moved, not a ship, not a missile. Something older, something human, but not known to any race alive. A black shape drifted through space, silent, perfect, invisible to scanners inside. No crew, only a machine with one purpose: protect Earth. And it was watching, waiting, listening. On Earth, the president of the Human Systems Alliance met with her top advisors. They attacked first, she said, and we responded. Quietly, do we strike back? Asked the military commander. No, she said, not yet. Let them speak with fear first. She turned to the AI standing beside her. Eidolon, she said, begin passive observation. Do not engage. Not unless they strike again. The AI nodded. As you command, monitoring begins. On Council worlds, rumors spread like fire. Some said the Velrax ship was destroyed by a ghost fleet. Others whispered that humans used forbidden tech-mind weapons. Time warps, reality folding. A few remembered Elder Varn's words. They were peaceful, but only if left in peace. In a dark chamber, far from the council's eyes, a small group of elders gathered. They were older than the council itself, from species long thought dead. They lit a single blue flame. It meant one thing: balance was broken. The humans warned us, said one. The stars must remember who they really are. The Valrax Empire gathered a fleet, 10 warships. Ready for war, they moved toward the Sol system. But something was waiting in the dark. Between stars, not ships, not weapons, but something worse. Knowledge, patience, and human silence. To be continued.
Ow.
The Velrax cruiser Bloodspear never returned. Only one small escape pod floated back to Velrax, space damaged, spinning, barely holding together. Inside it was Lieutenant Skarn, burned, shaking, and speaking nonsense. Doctors tried to calm him, but his eyes stared into space like he had seen something far worse than death. He repeated the same words over and over. They smiled. They walked. Through fire and smiled, his voice cracked. No screams. No fear. Just silence. They were not human. Not anymore. In the Velrax War Council, generals dismissed his words. He's broken. Coward. No human ship could do this. But Emperor Carvax looked deeper. What of the message? A scientist answered nervously. It was short. Only 3 words. The screen played the message again. Calm. Cold. You were warned. The council called an emergency meeting. Ambassadors of 50 star nations gathered in panic. The Velrax lost a full war cruiser, shouted one. No battle, no signal. Just erased. They have a weapon we can't detect. Or an ally we don't know about. But once again, the humans remained silent. Their ambassador sat in the corner, listening, watching. Finally he stood. We asked for peace, he said. You fired first. You crossed the line. Now, Earth watches. Then he walked out of the chamber without another word. The silence he left behind was louder than any threat. Back on Earth, inside the Global Defense Command, leaders debated the next step. Some wanted revenge. Others wanted patience. The president stood before them, calm, but firm. We will not start a war, she said. But we will not hide. They must learn who we are. She turned to General Lin, head of the Earth Strategic Force. Is Project Aegis ready? Yes, Madam President, General Lin replied. But once it wakes, it cannot be stopped. The president gave a single nod, then wake it. Far beneath, the surface of Mars, hidden inside a dead mountain, something began to stir. Project Aegis was not a fleet, was not a weapon. It was something stranger, a system, a guardian. A forgotten creation from the first war, a war no other race remembered. But Earth never forgot. Inside Aegis, ancient code lit up. Satellites reconnected. Sleep mode warships powered on quietly, invisibly. They moved with no engine noise. Number. Crude only purpose. Protect humanity. Silence all threats. Never speak unless spoken to. Meanwhile, In the Council's outer colonies, fear grew. Smaller races like the Frawl, the Shintari, and the Hotar sent secret messages to Earth. We did not support the Velrax, they pleaded. We still wish for peace. But Earth gave no answer. Instead, something strange happened. Entire fleets vanished without firing a shot. Velrax supply lines disappeared. Council probes sent to scan. Earth's border returned with corrupted data-static madness and strange. Whispers, one young diplomat, Alrin, of the Thrill, went to speak with Elder Varn. He was afraid. Elder, what is happening? The humans never attacked first. Why now? Varn looked up, tired, eyes glowing faint. You forget. They didn't start anything. We did, but they said nothing. For years they were peaceful. Yes, Varn said, because they hoped we would listen. He reached for a glowing crystalline ancient recording. You must see what they really are. The recording played, it showed a world long gone. Not Earth, but another colony, destroyed long ago. A younger race had invaded, thinking humans weak. But the humans had answered not with armies, not with fleets, but with something worse. Unseen weapons, silence, shadows in the recording. The enemy fleet simply vanished. Their planet died, slowly, machines turning off. Cities stopping mid-movement, time itself breaking. No explosions, no lasers, just systems shutting down. And over it all, one message. Peace was offered. It was refused. Back in the present, the Velrax Empire grew restless. They sent more ships, more scouts. None returned. Emperor Carvax grew desperate. I want answers, he ordered. Go into human space. Land on one of their colonies. Take prisoners. Find out what they've become. A strike force of elite soldiers was launched. They moved in silence toward the planet Kalas 9, small human colony on the edge of known space. Kalas 9 was peaceful. Farms. Families. Children playing under double suns. When the Velrax landed, they expected fear. Surrendered instead, the humans watched them calmly. A farmer stepped forward, holding a spade. You're not supposed to be here, he said. The Velrax laughed. You're not armed. We don't need to be. Then the ground shook. The sky darkened, and out of across the stars, silence grew like a shadow. The Galactic Council, once filled with noise and pride, now held its meetings in fear. Ambassadors spoke with careful words. Every conversation ended with one question no one could answer. What are the humans hiding? None of their spies returned. No scans worked. No fleet came back whole. No one had seen a real human weapon, yet entire ships vanished. The leaders of many empires demanded answers. Only the Giari elders, oldest among the stars, refused to speak. They just looked down, as if they already knew the end. But not all believed in caution. The Velrax, wounded and humiliated, sent their best spy to Earth. His name was Corintel, a shapeshifter, skilled in infiltration, trained to hide among any species. He took human form and landed on Earth as a diplomatic visitor. What he found there shocked him. Earth was not filled with military posts or war camps. There were cities, peaceful people, children laughing, artists painting, robots, cleaning parks. Corintel moved through the streets unnoticed. He searched for Warbud. Saw none, yet he felt something strange beneath it all. Something watching. He tried to hack a data hub. The moment he did, his device short-circuited. His skin burned. He collapsed. Before blacking out, he heard a soft synthetic voice in his mind. We see you. Corintel woke up in a white room, eh? Woman in a dark blue uniform sat beside him. Human. Calm. Sharp eyes. I'm Director Rena Voss, Human Intelligence Command. He tried to lie, denied everything. She didn't argue. Instead, she placed a datapad in front of him. On the screen was a recording of memory from his own mind. His training, his mission, his face-shifting forms. I never uploaded this, he whispered. No, she replied. But Dolan did. He sat up, breathing hard. Who is Eidolon? She smiled slightly. Not who what? She stood and walked to the glass wall behind her. Beyond it, machines moved silently. Giant. Black servers. Humming lights. This is the core of Earth's first defense AI. We call it Eidolon, built during the Silent War. Corintel frowned. What war? She turned to him. A war that happened before your empires were born. A war so fast and deadly that no records survived except ours. She walked over to a wall panel and pressed her hand against it. A hologram appeared. A dead world, floating in space, torn in half. Long ago, she said, humanity reached the stars quietly. We found other races. Most ignored us, or some tried to use us. One tried to wipe us out. We never learned their name. They never got the chance to say it. We didn't win with fire. We won with silence. She tapped the screen again. The planet vanished. Now came the image of Project Aegisa, shadowy network of ships, satellites and machines scattered across hidden parts of the galaxy, all built in secret, all forgotten by design. Why forget it? Corintel asked. She answered softly, because power like that changes people. We didn't want to become monsters. Back at the Galactic Council, Elder Varn sat alone. An assistant approached him. Sir, Earth has taken another spy prisoner. Varn nodded slowly. I warned them. We all did. Then why didn't you tell the full truth? The assistant asked. Varn looked at a small stone in his hand, a memory crystal from long ago. I saw what humans did once. I begged them not to rise again. He looked up, but no one listened. Meanwhile, Corintel was being escorted through a corridor deep under Earth's surface, not a prison, a vault. The walls were metal, black, cold, every few meters. He passed a sealed chamber. Each held something different, a ship, a weapon, a device. Each of these, said Director Voss, was created during the Silent War. They were never used again, until now. He stopped in front of a glass room. Inside was a black, floating orb. It pulsed slowly. What is that? She asked. She looked at him carefully. That is a Starkiller prototype. Never tested. We never needed to, but it watches. Like all of them, Corintel swallowed hard. You're bluffing, he said. You humans couldn't build all this. Not without help. Voss smiled. We had help from our future. That night, the Valrak spy was returned to his empire, alive, unharmed. But when they scanned his mind, they found something terrifying. No thoughts. Everything he saw was locked behind a mental wall he could not access. Every time he tried to speak about Earth, he heard a voice whisper, You were warned. Far away, deep in a cold sector of space. Project Aegis continued to wake up. Satellites reactivated. Drones launched. Ancient sleeper ships powered up, no crew. No heat, no sound. One command echoed through their code. Hold. Wait. Watch. Back. In the council, panic spread again. Why would humans hide this past? Why didn't we see it? How did they become so powerful without a single war in our records? And the answer was simple. Because Earth never needed war to become dangerous. They only needed time and silence. At the end of Part 3, Earth sends one more short message to the Council. Your history is younger than our secrets. Do not awaken the past again. The Velrak's empire was furious. 3 fleets lost. 2. Colonies silent. And one of their top spies returned with no memory. Their pride, once feared across the stars, was bleeding. Emperor Karvak slammed his fist onto the table of war. Enough. Games, if they want silence, wheel, give them fire. He pointed to the star map. Attack Voss Prime. Burn it. Show the humans we are not afraid. Voss Prime was a human colony world near the edge of Council space. It was a beautiful planet green. Warm, full of life. It had no military base. Only trade ports and civilians. Farms stretched across the valleys. Children played under the red sun. They never expected what was coming. The Rak's armada entered orbit without warning. 10 warships, heavy destroyers, plasma carriers. They didn't ask questions. They didn't demand surrender. They just opened fire. Cities burned. Towers. Homes exploded into dust. Over 100,000 civilians on the surface. Thousands died in the first strike. But something was strange. There was no panic, no fleeing ships, no screams over comms, only silence, like the people of Voss. Prime knew this was coming. General Coulter of the Valrac stood on the bridge of the lead ship, confused. Why aren't they running? Where is the resistance? His sensors officer looked pale. Sir, we're detecting energy spikes from underground. Unknown tech signatures? Human weapons? No, sir. Older. Much older. Suddenly, the ground cracked. Across the valleys of Voss Prime, huge platforms rose from beneath the earth. They weren't tanks. They weren't ships. They were Guardian units in Shanch and Earth defense walkers. It's forgotten by time, black, silent, unstoppable. They rose slowly, like giants waking from sleep. One unit stepped forward and looked directly at the Velrac's command, ship in orbit, though it had no face. The crew felt like it was staring through them. General Coulter barked, "Fire everything! Kill them now!" All Velrac ships opened fire, raining plasma on the surface, but the Guardian units didn't fall. Instead, the beams passed through them like they weren't even real. Then they began to move. One by one, they lifted their arms. And from the sky, the Velrac ships began to shake. Power systems failed, shields dropped, weapons jammed, and then the humans responded not with lasers, not with missiles, but with something no one could see. Data corruption, AI collapse. Crew members falling to the floor, crying in terror as voices whispered in their minds. One by one, the ships were forced to retreat, but only 3 escaped. From space, the surviving commanders watched as the human walkers turned and marched back underground, disappearing beneath the surface. Within minutes, the colony was quiet again. Fires stopped, skies cleared, and survivors stood calmly in the fields, watching the stars. One child picked up a broken Velrac's helmet and held it toward the sky. Then a voice echoed across every enemy ship. You attacked the innocent. Now innocence is gone. The news of the failed attack spread quickly across the galaxy for the first time. Major powers of the Galactic Council began to panic. This wasn't war, said the Sorthan diplomat. This was punishment. They didn't destroy us. It lets them live. To tell the story? What kind of strategy is that? The Jari Elder Varn whispered. It's an old one. Human patience is not peace. It is planning. Meanwhile, back on Earth, in the Council of Command, the President sat with her generals. Voss Prime is stable, General Lin reported. Minimal losses. Phase 2 defenses activated successfully. The President nodded. No retaliation. One general looked surprised, ma'am. She looked at him coldly. They'll retaliate themselves with fear. In the shadows of deep space, something else had awakened. A massive ship buried inside a hollow moon for over 1,000 years. It powered up. It had no name, no registry, only one code burned across its hull, :Sentinel-0. The ship moved slowly, passing through systems without being seen. Inside it, AI minds spoke quietly. Observation complete. Enemy behavior matches past cycle. Authorization level green. Then, one voice said, clear and final, prepare Earth for Phase 3. Back on Voss Prime, survivors cleaned their homes and buried the dead. They didn't beg for help. They didn't cry for mercy. They simply rebuilt. They had seen what Earth's silence could do, and they understood what the stars had forgotten. When humanity rises, the stars tremble. As Part 4 ends, the Council receives a final signal from the colony. It's a small video clip. A group of survivors standing beside a wrecked alien tank. One woman steps forward and says, "You brought war to our door. Now we remember what we were made for." The Galactic Council was shaken to its core. The attack on Voss Prime was a disaster for the Velrax Empire. Their pride was broken. And the truth about humanity's strength could no longer be denied. In the grand hall of the council, the elders gathered once more. Elder Varn of the Jari, the oldest and wisest, stepped forward. His voice was calm but carried a heavy weight. "The humans have awakened," he said, "and their power is far beyond what you all imagined." Many younger leaders still doubted. "Humans hide behind machines," one said. "They are weak. Without them," Varn shook his head. "Do you think their strength is only weapons? No. It is something deeper, something ancient." He held up a crystal, glowing softly with blue light. "This is a memory stone. It carries the truth of Earth's past, of the silent war." The younger leaders leaned in, curious despite themselves. Varn continued. "Long before the council was formed, Earth was a battlefield. A place where powers clashed and civilizations rose and fell. The humans fought to survive, not with sheer force, but with strategy, patience, and will. They learned how to be invisible, how to strike silently. Their technology was hidden, their true power kept secret. Now, after centuries of peace, they are ready again. Back on Earth, the president watched the council's turmoil from a secure chamber. She knew the elders spoke the truth, but she also knew this was only the beginning. She turned to her advisors. "Prepare for the next phase," she said. "The stars have ignored the warning for too long. We will show them what it means to fear the silent storm." Meanwhile, in the shadows, hidden factions in the council began to plot. Some wanted to ally with humanity. Others sought to destroy them before their power grew even stronger. The galaxy was on the edge of a new era, one filled with uncertainty, fear, and power. The story of humanity was no longer a secret. It was a warning. The Galactic Council was growing desperate. After the failed attack on Voss Prime and the mysteries surrounding Earth's power, fear took root among the stars. No one wanted to fight humans directly anymore, but they still wanted to control them. So secret plans were made. Far from the council chambers in a hidden facility on the moon of Gorath, scientists worked day and night. They tried to find a way to beat humans. They studied the strange reports, ships failing, fleets disappearing, mines breaking. They tested weapons, but none worked. The humans' defenses were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Meanwhile, deep in orbit around Earth, a fleet of silent ships appeared. They were not large, not flashy. They looked like small, black specks against the stars. No one noticed them at first, but these ships held a secret. They were part of Earth's unseen weapons. On board these ships, advanced AI systems hummed quietly. They did not need crews. They did not need fuel. They moved with precision. Avoiding detection, they could disable enemy ships from the inside. One by one, alien warships started to lose power. A Velrax fleet near the Outer Rim suddenly lost all control. Their engines stopped. Weapons shut down. Comms died. Panic erupted. The crew heard strange voices in their helmets, whispers, threats, promises of destruction. Many lost their minds. The ships drifted helpless. Easy targets elsewhere. A Frawl scout ship was disabled in seconds. No explosion. No fight. Just silence. The scout's sensors were flooded with strange signals and images of Earth. The silent war and the words, "You were warned." The Galactic Council tried to trace these attacks, but the signals were too fast, too quiet, invisible, untraceable. The humans had found a way to fight without fighting, on Earth. The president watched the reports calmly. "Unseen weapons are our greatest strength," she said. "They strike without warning. They break the mind before the body." She turned to General Lin. "Prepare to activate Phase 3. But even as Earth's power grew, not all were convinced. Some council members whispered of peace. They sent envoys to Earth, begging for talks. The human response was cold. A single message played on all channels. Peace was offered. It was refused. Now the silence answers. Fear spread across the galaxy. No one knew where the next strike would come. No one knew what weapons Earth had left, and the stars waited. The elders sat quietly in the council chambers. Varn's eyes shone dimly. We ignored the warning. Now, the silent war has begun. The galaxy was on edge. Every star system whispered the same fear. Humanity was no longer silent. The once quiet humans had become a storm. No, Emo knew when or where the next strike would come. In the Galactic Council, the atmosphere was tense. Leaders gathered, speaking in low voices. Is war inevitable? One asked. Can we stop them? Another wondered. Elder Varn sat quietly. His eyes looked distant, full of sorrow. Meanwhile, on Earth, the world was calm. Cities shone bright with peace and life. But beneath the surface, a vast network of defense systems hummed quietly. General Lin stood in the command center. Phase 4 is ready, she reported. The president nodded. Begin the silent storm. Across the galaxy, fleets moved in panic. Alien commanders tried to prepare. They strengthened shields, doubled patrols, and built new weapons. But none could stop what was coming. In deep space, dark shapes appeared. Silent ships slipped through. Enemy lines. Invisible drones passed through defenses like ghosts. On the Valrak's homeworld, alarms blared. Sensors detected hundreds of unknown vessels. Commander Threx shouted, "They are everywhere." On the bridge, screens flickered. Ships lost power. Communications broke down. Confusion spread. One by one, fleets fell silent. No explosions, no battles, just sudden, complete silence. Back on Earth, the president watched the reports. A small smile appeared. The silent storm has begun, she said. The council realized the truth too late. Humanity's power was not. It's just weapons. It was control. Control of space. Control of minds. Control of fear. Elder, Varn rose. This is what I warned you about. Humans are not just warriors. They are the storm you ignored. Across the stars, the silent storm moved closer, and the galaxy waited for the next move. The silent storm had reached the edges of the Galactic Council. Fleets no longer dared to leave their home systems. Trade routes were blocked. Planets went dark. Fear ruled in the council chamber. Panic grew. Leaders shouted, "Negotiate, send envoys. Stop this madness." But the humans sent only one message, a simple warning. Across all channels, a human voice echoed clear. Clear, calm, powerful. You ignored the Elder's warning. You tested humanity and lost. Now stop all aggression, or the silence will become your end. The voice belonged to the President of Earth. She stood on a massive broadcast tower, her eyes steady. Behind her, a huge flag of Earth waved in the wind. She spoke not just to the council, but to every being in the galaxy. The message was heard. Everywhere, some cried out in fear, others bowed in respect. Few dared to challenge the Valrak's emperor, listened in silence. His face was hard. He spoke softly to his generals. We have forced their hand. We must decide. Fight or fall. Meanwhile, hidden on a distant moon, Elder Varn watched the skies. The stars have changed, said. Humanity is no longer the quiet one. They are the storm that moves in silence. On Earth, preparations continued. New weapons activated. Ships launched silently. But peace was still the goal. The president gave one last order. Let this be the final warning. Turn back or face the silence. The galaxy held its breath. The story was far from over. The galaxy was tense. After humanity's warning, silence filled star systems. Ships stayed docked. Planets dimmed their lights. No one dared to move. In the Galactic Council, debates raged. Some leaders begged for peace. Others prepared for war. No. One trusted the humans. On Earth, life went on. The cities were bright. Children played in parks. But beneath, the great machines waited. Silent, powerful. Ready? General Lin met with the president. Are we ready for what comes next? President nodded slowly. We have waited long. Now we stand. In the outer colonies, spies reported strange movements. Human fleets gathering quietly, no weapons fired, no alarms raised. The Velrax Emperor grew impatient. We cannot wait forever, he said. Prepare the fleets. They will not speak. We will make them. But Eldervarn warned. This war will not be won by fire. It will be won by silence. The stars held their breath, waiting, watching. The final battle was near, but no one knew when it would begin. On Earth, a child looked. Up at the stars, she smiled. Let them come, she said. We are ready. The galaxy waited with heavy breath at the edge of human space. The Velrax fleet gathered thousands of warships, millions of soldiers, all ready for battle. They expected Earth to attack first, but Earth stayed silent. No fleet appeared. No. Weapons fired, only quiet. Inside Earth's command center, the president stood calm. Beside her, General Lin watched the screens. They think we will strike first, she said quietly. The president nodded. But we will show them something different. True power. Suddenly, far from human space, strange energy waves spread like a silent storm. Valrax ships lost control. Engines shut down. Weapons. Jammed Sooms died. Panic rose on every bridge. Across the enemy fleet, ships drifted helpless. Soldiers screamed, confused. No one could move. No one could fight back. Then, Earth's message played on all channels. We did not want warning. We did not want war, but we will protect our own. Prepare for the silence. Invisible forces moved through space. Silent weapons struck without noise. Fleets fell apart before a single shot. The Valrax Emperor watched helpless. This is not war, he whispered in fear. This is a new kind of silence. Across the stars, many races trembled. Some cheered the fall of their enemies. Others prepared for what was coming next. Back on Earth, the president smiled. We gave the warning now. The silence begins. The galaxy changed forever.